Hello guys, and welcome back again to another Gran Turismo 7 review. Today we have the Mclaren 650S GT3. Now this particular car is available in Brand Central and will set you back about 450,000 credits. That which is the average price of most Group 3 cars. Let's say if you have the IDR LMS, the Huracan GT3, or even the 2016 AMG GT3, which I think is a great value for money starter GT3 car. In terms of the stats of the car, what we get from the car, the engine is a 3.8 litre twin turbo V8 that makes about 520 horsepower at 7,000 RPM. And the weight of the car is only 1,240 kilos and makes about 57.0 kg-Fm of torque at 4,500 RPM. And the car is a mid-engine rear-wheel drive. Now, just to talk about what the car is, basically, this is mainly just some Wikipedia, and then I edited slightly because I think in some ways they fumbled up a bit. In June 2014, McLaren announced that they would produce a GT3 version of the 650S, either as a new car or an upgrade of the existing McLaren MP4 12C GT3 which will contest GT3 championships from 2015 onwards. Changes to the car from the road car includes a new 6-speed sequential motorsport gearbox, 380mm ventilated brake discs with 6-piston calipers at the front and 4-piston units at the rear, a 52mm wider track and revised suspension geometry. The 3.8-litre McLaren twin-turbocharged V8, also used in the MP4 12C GT3, produces 493 horsepower with balance of performance and includes a new ECU to improve turbo boost and gear shifts. The power output is actually lower than the road-going 650S. The 650S in particular achieved its biggest success when it won the 2016 Liqui Moly Bathurst 12-hour race at the hands of Alvaro Parente, Shane Van Gisbergen, and Jonathan Webb. Van Gisbergen set a new outright lap record of a time of 2:01.567 on 7th February 2016. Also in the dealership, you can buy with two different specs. You can buy a custom Gran Turismo livery, that's just basically one of the liveries that were in the Liqui Moly Bathurst 12-hour, or either then you have the livery that the car launched in, and I think the launch livery is the best looking with this car, because I personally think the McLaren 650S GT3 is probably my favorite McLaren GT3 car. I do like the 720S GT3, but when I look at this thing, I really like the way how they styled it, because the 650S in general, it is a good looking car, but I felt like it was too narrow. With this, it just fixes everything that I don't like about the 650S, and it just makes it look absolutely perfection. I think this is probably one of the best looking GT3 cars ever made. Well, with all that out of the way, now let's see. Basically, I'm just going to give my thoughts and feedback, and I don't really know much about how to describe stuff. Basically, I'm just going to say how it performed on the Nürburgring circuit. Well, just to start off, the car feels like it has plenty of understeer. I was struggling driving the car on the GP section of the track, with the car going wide into the corners, but also in the Nordschleife at the North Loop. The car had a really big understeer problem, even though if I set my brake bias, I set it to -1, it still had that understeer problem. And also, in some of the corners, especially the Stefan Beloff S's, the car, I had to actually brake. I had to brake and lift the throttle slightly, because it wouldn't go flat out through there like the AMG GT3 or some of the other GT3 cars. It felt like the understeer was like a bit of a problem, that it couldn't take some of the most basically corners you take flat out. It just struggled a little bit. And it's very interesting to see that a mid-engine rear-wheel drive car would have that sort of understeer. And also in some corners, I actually had to brake early. which is a very big surprise. Also, but the thing is, it's a very forgiving car. It never loses traction, and it is never tail happy, so that's what I like about the car. It's still a forgiving car, but the acceleration in the car is really good and much more quicker compared to other Group 3 cars. Let's say if you had the AMG GT3 or the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, this car definitely does feel a lot more quicker in acceleration, but the top speed is really, really bad. I think the top speed was like 200, I think it was just less, I forgot the exact top speed, but it was less compared to other GT3 cars I've driven. So definitely, let's say in the Datsun Go or some of the sections where I think Datsun Go is the only section that matters of top speed. It does lack a bit, although in the corners, it's not the best either because of that big understeer problem. So it definitely does have its own issues. But also, one key advantage of the car is it only weighs 1,240 kilos. That's just very light compared to, let's say, the front-engine rear-wheel drive Group 3 cars, like the AMG GT3 that weighs about 1,325 kilos, if memory serves correct. But also, it weighs pretty much the same as a Huracan GT3 or an Audi R8 GT3. So it basically weighs the same as most mid-engine rear-wheel drive GT3 cars. But yeah, weight is definitely a good advantage on this car. But even though if it's light and it's fairly forgiving to drive, the car's still gone 8 minutes 22 seconds on the track, which is about 19 seconds slower than the time I set in the AMG GT3. So it's not really the best when it's stock. I think that if you tune the car, you just really fix that massive understeer problem. I'm not sure how you're going to fix it, but you're just going to have to fix it in some way. Then probably the car would handle a lot more better. And it could even potentially, if you know how to tune it good enough, it can maybe even beat the AMG GT3 on the Nürburgring. But definitely, if you want a car to actually go and have a good challenge to tune at, then I'd definitely say you go with the 650S GT3. But that was just on the Nürburgring. There's still other tracks that I'd recommend driving this car on that I've tested myself. Trial Mountain, I've actually set a silver time in Trial Mountain with the 650S GT3, so I think it's a very, very good car on that track. It's good at Deep Forest, Gas Marina Circuit, it's actually a fairly decent car, Mountain Panorama Bathurst, and also it's fairly good for Kyoto Driving Park. It's also a decent car to use in the World Touring Car 800, particularly in the fuel economy. I forgot how much laps it lasts, but it lasts basically more longer than most GT3 cars, and it's an easy car to drive, so you can even just tune it and fix the understeer problem, and it's a very, very OP car. Now, when you spend some money and fully upgrade the car without tuning it, it's actually a decent car to drive with a high RPM turbo. The car is way more faster and it's still forgiving, but the car still suffers from understeer, though, which is not really much of an improvement, especially like, let's say if you took it to the Nürburgring, or in this case Mount Panorama I took it to, it just felt like it just had more better acceleration, but it still felt like just that understeer, it didn't really fix that at all. But yeah, it didn't really do much. That's what I think. It just didn't fix the car at all, and it still suffers from the understeer. And also, I think, especially if somebody is gonna try to drive this car in sport mode, it's not really a competitive car, because the 296 GT3 or even the 911 GT3R or the AMG, those will easily completely beat the Mclaren if you decide to take the sport mode. Well, to conclude my thoughts in a nutshell, if you want to start a car to tune and make it a good Group 3 car, then buy the Mclaren. But if you want a car that doesn't need any tuning and just as good just off the lot, then buy the AMG GT3, either the 2016 model or the 2020 model. I think the McLaren's still a good car. It's a very forgiving car to drive, and it's not a tail-happy car, but I don't think it's really good compared to the competition. But yeah, that's the thoughts of my 650S. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, like, subscribe, turn on, I don't know what to do, just do whatever, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.